Bunker will have that one. Wilson, Matthew, Bell the dig, Managia for Orlowski, and the senior wins it! Jackie Orlowski with the final kill. Eastern Connecticut takes the fourth set 25-21. Your 2018 LEC champions, Eastern Connecticut State University.
So we lost to Keene pretty early in the season, about the second week, we think, and we lost pretty soundly. They handled us. When we got back, the team rebounded well. They didn't let it become a big focus. It was more of a reminder of how hard do we need to work and how hard do we need to play in order to compete in our conference, because our conference is pretty good. Keene was in first place for almost the whole season, regular season, and so we knew that we were going to have to overcome them if we were going to win. So I don't think that we hyper focused on them, but it was a good reminder in the back of our heads that we wanted to, if we're going to win a championship, we need to make sure that we can overcome everyone in our conference. The thing that really surprised me and that I was really excited about is they weren't nervous at all. They were ready to go, and I think we were lucky. We had earned that home berth, and we had a great crowd between Keene's fans who were loud and excited, and our own fans who were loud and excited. It was a great environment for them to play in. So they weren't nervous, they were focused, and they were just ready. We were pretty healthy. We had a lot of a lot of our starters ready to go, and they played a really clean match. A little bit of confusion, a lot of confusion, honestly. So, the girls are cheering and they're so excited, and Carly Balskis turns to me and she goes, "Now what?" And I was just like, I don't know, and so I was like, I don't know, go stand on the end line. So we're trying to figure out, where do we go now? How do we do this? Because I didn't win a championship in college, and so I haven't won a championship since grad school. So, and they hadn't won one, obviously, because it's been 11 years. So a little bit of confusion, lots of elation, and it was a fun day. We started in January and just reminding them that, yeah, we won in 2018, but it's not 2018 anymore, it's 2019. So getting them to be proactive, in shape, healthy is always a big one. We want them to play, we want them to play all summer, but that's their decision. And reminding them that it's a long break, but at the end of it, we have about 10 days of preseason and then we start again. So luckily, they like to play. That's kind of like the easy part, and they enjoy exercising. They enjoy each other, and they know that they're accountable to each other. So is just reminding them that it's 2019. It's not 2018. We have to start over. We have to keep building. So the quick thing is we want to make sure we have independent. Individual goals for each of the athletes to get better over that week, and then team goals. We need to input our system, and not just input. We need to build on our system. So luckily, we have a ton of returning players. A lot of people have contributed in the past, and we have new players who are really volleyball savvy. So it's taking new information. Do we speed up our offense? Do we add a couple new plays? Do we adjust our defense? Do we adjust our defensive positioning? And so it's working with the coaches and working with the athletes to try to set those goals of, at the end of 10 days, we want to see individually, I want to see this, and then as a group, I want to see this. And then we get to test it out. We have a scrimmage, and then we get to test it out the week afterwards we open up at Nichols. There is, and then there's also the reminding, you have to remind myself, remind my coaches, remind my athletes that we were always trying to get back to a championship game. We were in the championship game my first year, and then we were again this year, and every year that's the goal. So it's building, we are always building to that point. So it's just figuring out the next step. So we're trying to let that be the focus and not let 2018 be our focus. 2018 is part of our history, it's part of our tradition, it's part of our successes. We're proud of it as all get out, but it can't be our focus this year. They responded really well to it in spring. It's a new team. Every year is a new team. We graduated a lot of contributing players. We have new players coming in. We have a core returning, but it's always a new team, which is why college is a lot of fun. So as long as we continue to focus on this 2019 team versus the 2018 team, then I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. and they handled it really well last spring. So some things that we have to think about. Last year we had 2 senior right sides that were middles, and we were able to convert them. So we were able to run a pretty diverse offense where our middles and our right sides were almost interchangeable. This year we don't have that. So we're looking at can we keep that variety, or do we need to change it? So our offensive scheme is going to change a little bit. We're also going to take a look at our defensive scheme and make sure that our players are in a really good position to dig. We talked a lot about digging ugly. A dig is a dig, whether we dig it with our forearms and it's beautiful, or if we pop it up with one hand, it's still up and we took a point away from the other team. So we're going to talk a little bit about our defensive theory. We hope that they come in ready to contribute, ready to slide into a role where they're able to help us get better. Whether it's an on-court role right away, they build up to an on-court role, or they're able to make us better in practice. We want them to fit into our program. And when we recruit, we look for kids that are going to fit into our program in a certain role. We've always been really lucky with recruits coming in and finding ways to contribute. So it'd be nice to have that again. But I know we have a lot of depth in good positions in a lot of different age groups. We want to build team chemistry in about a week. It's kind of the cool thing about the fall preseason is they live on campus. The athletes are for the most part the only ones on campus. They're eating together, they're practicing together, they're going to meetings together, training together, and it's all pretty condensed. So if at the end of the week we can implement a couple systems changes, work towards those individual goals, but ultimately find the team chemistry before we open up in 2 weeks, then I think that's a successful start. I'm hoping we're starting to settle into a lineup. We get to play with a bunch of different lineups in the scrimmage, and we'll still probably be shifting and moving as people are getting used to systems. But we're hoping to start seeing people settle into roles. Certainly if their role is not on the court, they're still fighting for that role. But I'd like to see us start settling into a lineup and start settling into a rhythm of play. Getting our offensive numbers, getting our serve receive, our passing numbers to a certain point. We're lucky we're returning three primary passes from last year. We got them all back. And so if we're in system, which we should be, being able to increase our offensive numbers. So last year, one of the things we did really well is we distributed our offense. We had 6 active attackers at all times. So that's what we want to do again. One of the things that they did really well is they led with empathy. It was never just do this, do this, do this. It was let's figure out how to do this together. And whether it's a group of people dealing with a resolution towards something, or they want to have a goal they want to accomplish, it's a lot of the inclusive plural, like let's do this, we can do this. And I think that framework and that language has been really important in helping us get there. And certainly those leaders helped us get there, and we have people set up. Mackenzie Managia, Aaron Windsor, and Valencia McClendon, they're our captains this year, and they're really good at that language. But so is everyone else. It's something that we build in early. So this isn't a me, it's not an I, it's a we.